Oh my God, this car is fast.
Oh girl, just say something. Oh baby, won't you say something? No running, you got me thinking.
Next to me is the all-new V8 Ferrari, the F8 Tributo. It features the engine from the Pista and even the S-Duct from that car. It's got gorgeous styling, it's extremely fast, and this one is modified. So what is it like to drive? Let's find out. When they originally released the 488, it seemed like a step backwards from the beautiful, simplistic design of the 458. The front end just didn't seem to flow well with the body. However, when they came out with the F8, it was a radical improvement, and I'm finally in love with Ferrari's V8 styling again. It's beautiful, but it's aggressive all at the same time, especially with these gorgeous AL13 wheels, khaki green Anazatec wrap, downpipes, and a tune, and a bunch of carbon from 1016 Industry. But before we continue, I want to talk briefly about my new company, Carblip. If you're looking to buy a new car or return your lease early, Carblip is the way to go. Because we have a dealership network of thousands of dealers across the country, we can get you the best price possible and deliver the car to your house without you having to leave the comfort of your own home. And if you click the link in the description below, you'll buy a car directly from me and we'll correspond to get you the best vehicle possible. The name Tributo is an homage to the most powerful V8 engine Ferrari has ever created. At the heart of the F8 is a 3.9-liter twin turbocharged V8 making 710 horsepower and 568 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 happens in a face-ripping 2.8 seconds. It's got a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, and of course, power is sent just to the rear wheels. Only this car is not stock. It's got a Rift exhaust, downpipes, and a tune from Auto Talent, bumping power up to 820 horsepower and 720 pound-feet of torque. Thanks to a redesign, we've got an Inconel intake manifold as well as titanium connecting rods, meaning this engine is 40 pounds lighter than the 488s while making 49 more horsepower. This car can hit a top speed of 211 miles an hour. It's 80 pounds down on the 488 as well for a curb weight of 3,150 pounds. Now, one of my favorite parts about the rear of this vehicle is the Lexan engine cover. Not only is it really cool, it's also very lightweight, has these heat extraction vents, but really it's a nod to one of the coolest design elements of the Ferrari F40. Let's discuss aerodynamics. It's got the S-Duct, which was originally introduced in Formula One and then brought to the road on the Pista. Air comes in through this vent here, passes up and over the hood out of the vent on the hood itself, increasing downforce 15% over the 488. It's also got cooling systems from the 488 Challenge car. This really is a race car for the road. At the rear of the F8 is a newly redesigned spoiler. It's subtle and it kind of floats above the top of the car, and it's as functional as it is beautiful. The redesigned spoiler produces 25% more downforce than the 488 while producing less drag at the same time. That's thanks to these 3 turning vanes underneath the spoiler itself that recompress the airflow towards the wake of the vehicle. You'll also notice instead of 2 taillights, it's got 4, which is harking back to the 308 GTB. It's also got an active rear diffuser with flaps that can stall or improve downforce depending upon the situation. The interior of the F8 is quite similar to the 488, but with some subtle upgrades and tweaks. We've now got an optional passenger display. This car doesn't actually have it, but like on my 812 Superfast, the passenger gets a readout for how fast you're going, what gear you're in, and some music and navigation options as well. There are a slew of epic seat options to choose from. These gorgeous tan seats with black contrasted stitching look fantastic. One of the major differences is we've got new air vents, we've got kind of a revised dash area, but the steering wheel itself has actually been made smaller than before. Ferrari says this adds to precision driving, but it also gives you more thigh room, so if you're a taller driver, you can more easily fit in the F8 Tributo. Got a slew of controls on the steering wheel, Manatino dial to switch between wet, sport, race, traction control off, bumpy road mode, of course the engine start-stop button, which we will fire up right now and get this car out on the road. Let's take a quick look at the dash area. We've got a beautiful analog tachometer right in the center and 2 displays to the left and the right. Maps on the right side, but my favorite display on the left, it's customizable via this control here, is VDA. This will actually show you whether the car is ready. So when we take off, eventually this will show the engine in green. It'll also show the tires lit up in green to let you know that you are ready to take off. It also lets me know that it's 106 degrees and I'm absolutely dying outside. It's also got some really nice paddles behind the steering wheel. My only gripe though is I wish it went a little bit lower down, because if you're making a turn, sometimes you reach for the bottom of the paddle and it isn't there. All right, to put the car into first gear, go ahead and pull the right paddle. And off we go. Behind the wheel of the F8 now. I've driven one of these before, but the environment I was driving it in was just around town in the city. And honestly, first hopping back in this car, I'm really impressed with how comfortable it is just driving it around normally, despite the fact that this car has downpipes and a tune and over 820 horsepower, and the fact that it screams. It's actually really easy to drive at low speeds. It's got more compliant suspension than something like a GT2 RS, but it gives you more feedback and more confidence than something like a McLaren 720S. It's that perfect happy medium suspension, and honestly, they knocked it out of the park with this car. Now, the gearbox has faster shifts than ever before, and they happen so quickly, it's actually shocking. Now, most cars with double clutch transmissions, they shift really fast when you're at full speed and you're full on the brakes. That's when the downshifts happen fast. And when you're full throttle acceleration, that's when the upshifts happen fast. But this car rips upshifts and downshifts like you're on a racetrack, just at slow speeds. But how about at high speeds? Woo! Wow. Oh my God, this car is fast. Oh, this thing is freaking ridiculous. You know, oh. The 488 and the F8, because they're no longer naturally aspirated, get this bad rap for not sounding like true Ferraris. But man, with an exhaust, downpipes, and a tune, this thing frees up the exhaust and actually sounds really good. It's nice and loud. It's got these crisp downshifts that just sound so intoxicating. Listen. And it's got this higher pitched wail at higher RPMs that you're not expecting in a twin turbocharged V8 car. The brakes are phenomenal. Oh my God, the power in this car is actually next level. Steering feel is great, not quite as much feedback as a 458 or a Pista, but still, it's got a good amount of feedback in it while still being comfortable and manageable on a daily basis. I truly think that this car, even in its stage 2 form, if you're crazy enough, could be used as a daily driver because it's so comfortable. And one of the biggest things about this car, as compared to a McLaren or a Lamborghini, is there's so much space inside this cabin. It feels huge inside here. I have a ridiculous amount of headroom. My shoulder room is insane, and it feels the opposite of claustrophobic. So you've got a confidence-inspiring car that can be used every day, but also is incredible on the track. And in terms of straight line performance, this thing is absolutely out of this world. It really is a fantastic car. I'm impressed, Ferrari. Oh, the turn-in is amazing. Oh my God, when you really give it full throttle, this thing is a serious weapon. I gotta give a special thanks to my friend Lloyd. I've got his Instagram in the description below for letting me review his car. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. Wow. I mean, that sounds pretty damn good, right? And I love the fact that you can see in the rear view mirror the massive engine bay and that low down, low center of gravity V8 behind me. Now, I'm not sure if this is science or just my personal experience, but it seems like the Lexan engine cover has a lot less glare in it than a glass engine cover. A lot of times with these cars with the rear glass engine cover, if it's a little bit sunny, it reflects straight back into your rear view mirror, and instead of seeing the engine, you just see a whole bunch of glare. But in this case, there is no glare whatsoever. Well guys, there you have it. What an absolutely incredible car. I'm in love with the way the F8 looks. They honestly killed it with the styling. It sounds great. The interior has been revised. This really is one of the best supercars you can possibly buy for the money. I hope you guys enjoyed today's review. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.